Hello, how are you? Great, fantastic. I'm really glad to hear this. How's your preparation going, by the way? Not good? Uh huh. Your complaint is valid. I'm not posting videos often, so accept apologies. Now, without wasting our time, let's start with IELTS test elements. So this video is about speaking, as the description says, and today we will learn about IELTS speaking exam. So if you are someone who's taking IELTS academic module or planning to sit for IELTS general training module, you need to sit for speaking exam, and this exam is same for both modules. Now, this exam is conducted in two ways, either through video calling system or VCS, or tete-a-tete, which is like face-to-face session. Depending on centers availability or the country you are residing in, your speaking exam timings vary. They can either be on the same date when your other tests are, or a speaking test can be a couple of days before, or a week before, or a couple of days or a week after your LRW or listening, reading, writing exam. So what is this speaking exam? I've seen students generally very good in speaking but really fearing about this exam or this test. Understand, you don't need to worry. We all know how to speak. It's just that we have to organize ourselves. And in order to organize, in order to win, it is really important to understand the enemy. So speaking test, of course, is not an enemy, but is a territory to conquer. So let's explore this territory. In your IELTS speaking exam, duration of your exam is generally between 11 to 15 minutes. See how small the duration is, which means you just have to concentrate on these 15 minutes of your life. If you're doing it well with good strategy and planning, I'm sure 8 is the score minimum you are going to get. There are three sections of this test. In the first section, it's about introduction, where you need to introduce yourself. So your examiner is actually going to ask certain questions. First, they will introduce themselves, or he or her will introduce himself or herself. Then they will ask you certain questions like, what do you do? Why did you choose this profession or this program? How often do you go to a cinema? Or what type of shopping do you do normally? So these are the kinds of questions which are generally asked in your section 1 or in your introduction session. I also call this session as an icebreaker session because this is where your examiner tries to make you familiarize, to make you comfortable, relax with the environment and with the exam itself so things can proceed smoothly. This section generally lasts for 4 to 5 minutes. After section 1 is your topic, speech, or a cue card session. In this session, your examiner is going to show you a topic, could be on a screen if it is a video call test, or a cue card or a question sheet if you are taking it in person. On this paper, they're going to put a question. For example, talk about your memorable events. So you need to talk about this event, but the trick is that you just don't need to talk randomly about this event. Rather, they will give you 3 pointers which you should envisage or include when you are delivering your speech. So, for example, or as I quoted, describe or tell us about your memorable event. So, what makes it memorable? Who was with you? Do you still cherish that event? So, these are the three questions which you need to describe along with your memorable event. So, getting it clear that it's not like I just give you a topic, talk about your memorable event, and you can talk anything. No, you have to talk on a particular points also, so that examiner can gauge you how good you are when it comes to communication. This section or part 2 generally lasts for 3 to 4 minutes, in which 1 minute is given soon after the topic is revealed to you. So you have 1 minute to prepare, think on that topic, and get yourself ready. Then for the next 2 minutes, you need to speak on this topic. My general advice is try to speak on the questions or the pointers they are looking at in the first minute itself, so that when you are entering in the second minute or extending your topic, you're not worried about if you have covered any point or not. When we will discuss this section 2 in depth, I will certainly going to share certain tips and tricks. Post section 2, your part 3 will start. Part 3 is generally a two-way discussion, and it's the extension of your part 2 normally. Excuse me. So in in part 3, your examiner just dig further. For example, they talk about event, or they ask you to spoke about a memorable event. So now they can ask what events are important in your country, or how do people celebrate events in your country, or is it really important to celebrate an event? What international events do you enjoy yourself? So these are the questions which are coming in your part 3 of the exam. So now you have an understanding what is going to be asked in part 1 or the icebreaker session, what examiner is going to ask you when it comes to your cue card session, and how you need to respond. Third is or your two-way discussion, where you are just describing the topic further, giving more abstract ideas about what you think on that particular topic. Now, this is what your examiner is going to check in this exam. However, what things they are going to evaluate you on? What is the evaluation criteria? Because yes, this is the main thing which I need to pass. That's the hurdle which I need to cross. So how, what are the parameters, what structures, or what pointers my examiner is actually looking at or evaluating me on? So normally there are 4 pointers in your speaking exam. A, or number 1, is fluency. How fluent you are while you are speaking. You need to understand that fluency does not mean to utter words faster. It's not firing of words. It's not chopping. Okay? So fluency is how smoothly, rhythmatically you can speak. It's not necessary that you should be speaking fast or you should be speaking slow, but a moderate pace where there is no fillers or gaps like this should not be there. If your speech is lacking you're fluent enough. You just need to practice, and you need to tune your mind with your tongue so that the both can sync together and produce the results. Number second thing which they are going to evaluate you on is your pronunciation. Yes, but does it mean I need to have an accent? No. Pronunciation means here in your IELTS exam how correctly you can pronounce a word. I have a very neutral accent. Some may have a British accent. Some may have a New Zealand accent or a New Zealander accent. Some may have a very crisp UK accent. So, how am I going to pronounce a word? Pronounce it the way you are pronouncing it. Announce it the way you are saying it now. Just be clear so that other person can understand you. Alright, so pronunciation or enunciation does not mean to have a native accent. Even the accent you speak in is perfect and you just need to pronounce that particular word correctly. No mumbling should be there, no should be there. Nothing like, no, I'm not understanding. So, my name is, yeah, pretty much neutral, but anyone having any kind of accents can understand me easily. Third thing, which is important and they are going to evaluate you on, is your grammar. Yes, grammar is important, but understand it's not everything. You can be incorrect at times. You can afford it. Even a native speaker does not speak correctly all the time. They do make errors in their speech. So don't be very conscious about it. Yes, of course, don't speak in a way where something is happening in present and you are connecting it to the past by using past tenses. Or if something happened in the past, you are describing it with future tenses. So, no, don't make this error. Otherwise, few errors like probably the usage of articles or sometimes incorrect or inappropriate prepositions, they are neglectable as long as you are good when it comes to fluency and your pronunciations. Alright, please don't mistake me with that grammar has no role. It has, but it's not the whole. Understand, okay? Last but not the least is your vocabulary. Yes, it's important. How many a times you may have heard a speaker saying words which are not known to you or your ear is not very much familiar with those words and you feel good, oh wow, they have some good words. It's not related to language, I mean the English language only. Even in your native language, there are certain speakers you appreciate because the kind of words they use are very crisp, very crunch. They have a good impact on our ears. Because they have good impact on our ears, they last long in our memories. So same is the case with English. Vocabulary is really important. For example, generally people use very simple words like good, food, bad. Instead, you can use better, cuisine, words like this, or say, utter. You're getting the words. So, how to work on your vocabulary? I will certainly do a separate session on this where I'll be sharing my experience on how you can, or rather, experience my knowledge on how to increase your vocabulary. But here, when you're preparing yourself for your IELTS exam, start talking about the words, or start doing Google, or use thesaurus or dictionary for the words which you are using in your day-to-day life conversation, because these are the words which you are going to use generally, or even in your exam. So if you know two or three alternates of a word which you quite often speak, it is going to help you. Like nothing can be replaced by zilch. Oh, good word. Liked it? Yes. Same is the impact on your examiner. So, let's sum up this video. So, in this video, we learned about IELTS speaking exam. This exam is similar for both academic and general training modules. The exam is conducted in two mediums, either via VCS or video calling system, or by a face-to-face session or T-to-T session, whatever you like to call. In person as well, correct, you're right. Now, the exam has three portions or three sections, and 11 to 15 minutes hardly you are going to spend for this exam. This exam can be before, after, or on the same date when your other tests like listening, reading, and writing are. In this exam, your examiner is focusing on fluency, pronunciation or enunciation, correct, vocabulary, well done, and last but not the least, your grammar. Don't make this sad face. Start learning about tenses. It's not difficult to get scores in IELTS as long as you are well prepared and planned. Alright, it's time to signing off from this video. Keep watching on, because in my coming videos I'm going to discuss each section individually. Till then, take care. Bye bye.